Now we're subtracting two mixed numbers, and I like to do these by lining these up vertically like this so that the fractions are lined up and the whole numbers are lined up. So we're subtracting 4/5 minus 3/5, so that would be 1/5. And 40 subtract 30 is 10. All right, so that's our answer, 10 and 1/5. Okay, and number 2, we have 7 and 4/5. And we're subtracting 4 and 3/10. Okay, this time we don't have a common denominator, so let's get a common denominator. Let's see, 5 goes into 10 evenly, so 10 will be our common denominator, and we can just multiply top and bottom here by 2. All right, so this is 7 and 8/10. Just rewriting. Subtract 4 and 3/10. Here we get 5/10. 8 subtract 3. And 7 subtract 4 is 3. 3 and 5/10, and this let's reduce that. 5/10, divide top and bottom by 5. And we have, as a result, 3 and 1/2. All right, number 3, we have 10 and 2/3. And we're subtracting 2 and 1/6. All right, again, we need a common denominator, so 3 goes into 6 evenly, so 6 will be our common denominator. Multiply 3 times 2 and 2 times 2, so we're subtracting 10 and 4/6. Subtract 2 and 1/6. So here we have 3/6. 4 subtract 1 is 3, so we have 3/6, and here we have 8. This we can reduce, divide by 3, and we have 8 and 1/2. Number 4, 5 and 1/5. Subtract 3 and 2/5. So here we have a situation where the fraction on top is smaller than the fraction on the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some borrowing over from the whole number. Let's borrow a 1 from the whole number, so reduce this by 1, change that to 4. And we're going to add 1 to 1/5, and so what we'll do is we'll get a common denominator right away. So we're going to add 1 in the form of 5 over 5. That's equal to 1. So what do we have? Let's rewrite. We have 4 and 6/5, and we're subtracting 3 and 2/5. Okay, so 6 subtract 2 is 4, so we have 4/5 in the fraction column, and 4 subtract 3 is 1. 1 and 4/5. In number 5, we have a whole number 8, and we're subtracting 1 and 1/5. All right, so we're going to have to borrow and put a fraction over here. So we're going to borrow 1 from the whole number, so let's change that to 7. And we'll put 1 in the fraction column in the form of 5 over 5. All right, because that's our denominator here is 5, so we write 1 as 5 over 5, and now we're ready to subtract. 5 over 5 subtract 1 over 5. 5 subtract 1 is 4, so we have 4/5 in the fraction column, and here 7 subtract 1 is 6. 6 and 4/5. Okay, 5 and 3/4 plus 2 and 1/4. Let's add the fractions. We have 4 over 4, and 5 and 2 is 7. Well, 4 over 4 is equal to 1. So actually what we have here is 7 plus 1, so the answer is 8. Okay, number 7, 5 and 7/9 plus 4 and 5/9. Let's add the fractions. 7 and 5 is 12, so we have 12 over 9. And 5 and 4 is 9. 12 over 9 is an improper fraction. It's greater than 1. So it's actually equal to 9 over 9, that's 1, plus 3 over 9. So the 1 will add to the whole. Okay, well, this is equal to 1. We'll add that to the 9, so we have 10 and 3/9, and let's reduce 3/9, divide by 3, and that is 10 and 1/3. Number 8 is really pretty simple. 10 plus 2 and 2/3 is just equal to 10 plus 2 is 12, 12 and 2/3. Number 9, we have 7, and we're subtracting 4 and 1/3. So we're going to have to borrow to get something here in the a fraction right here. So let's borrow a whole 1, changing this to 6, and we'll write, instead of 1, we'll write 3 over 3, because we have a denominator of 3 here. Subtract 3 over 3 minus 1 over 3, and we have 2 over 3. And 6 subtract 4 is 2. 2 and 2/3. Number 10, we're adding 4 and 3/4. We're adding 3 and 7/10. We need a common denominator, so start with a larger denominator of 10. 10 times 1 is 10. Maybe I'll write it over here. Okay, and 4 does not go in. 10 times 2 is 20, and 4 does go into 20. So our common denominator will be 20. Let's multiply top and bottom by 2 here to get that denominator of 20. And here we multiply by 5 to get the denominator of 20. All right, so let's rewrite. So we have 4 and 15 over 20 plus 3 and 14 over 20. Let's add the 15 and the 14, so we have 29 over 20. And here we have 7. Now this is an improper fraction. It's greater than 1. It's equal to 20 over 20 plus 9 over 20. And we'll add, this is 1, and we'll add that to the 7, so we'll have 8 and 9 over 20.